What's up gamers, in today's video I'm going to be talking about one of the best upcoming Natlan characters, Mualani. Mualani is someone who a lot of people saw and instantly started liking, just like myself. And that's why I'm here to explain to you what she does so you don't have to read 5,000 pages of information to learn. Anyway, since I hate long intros and I know you probably do too, let's get straight into the video. So Mualani is looking to be an amazing Hydro DPS Catalyst user who scales off HP, and seems to have a weird obsession with sharks and definitely has a funny personality, just like your boy Illoff316. Anyways, because she's a Hydro DPS character that likes sharks, and apparently Neuvillette is an otter, seeing an otter 1v1 a shark would be pretty hilarious. I think we already know who would win. I'm saying this because Mualani's damage is not one to laugh about, because her scalings are actually insane, but we'll get into that later. But first, let's talk about her normal attacks. Her normal attacks are basic normal attacks, and nothing special about them. Get it? Nothing? Because sharks have fins, so I said nothing. Get it? Get it? Her normal attacks aren't anything special by themselves, but they do have a weird special version of them, which is where most of her damage comes from. Now, how do you get to that version 2 of her normal attacks is something you might ask. Well, it's from her elemental skill. When using her skill, she will ride a shark surfboard, and by doing so, she will be able to move really fast on land, water, and even lava apparently. It has a point system and limit to how much you can surf, similarly to Scaramouche, and this point system starts at 60, but when you reach 0 points, she will stop surfing and her skill will have a 6-second cooldown. Now, when using her skill in combat, she can apply a silly mark on the enemies, and each time she applies this mark, she will gain a silly stack, and the max amount of stacks she can get are 3. The reason you want to hit the enemies 3 times to get those amount of stacks is because after that, your normal attack damage will be more than my college debt. For those wondering, I graduated at Harvard 18 times at the age of 15, which is very true information. Her normal attack damage is increased by a lot, and she can do 1 normal attack every 2 seconds. You can also get a stack from the same enemy every 0.8 seconds, but of course, she can't do normal attacks consistently because the damage those attacks do is insane, so Hoyo had to balance things out a bit. But wait, there's more. Her mark will also send out missiles that do very little damage to enemies that got marked by Mualani's skill, which didn't get hit by her normal attacks. Yeah, by little damage, I mean so much damage that your wallet literally starts crying. So let me explain. If she marks 4 enemies and hits one of them with her normal attack for, let's say, 80,000, her missiles will hit the other 3 for 80k as well. But yeah, she is definitely going to be doing an insane amount of damage. Next, let's talk about her elemental burst. Her burst is actually pretty simple. It just does a good amount of hydro damage. But now that you know about her skill and her bursts, let's not talk about her passives. But for some reason, my ping is wilding today. Thankfully, GearUp Booster can lower my ping by a lot. Phew! What would I do without you? As you can see, GearUp Booster is a great way to gear up and boost your gaming experience with games like Withering Waves and Genshin Impact. This is because those games require internet and ping, and sometimes your ping can be atrociously high to the point where the game is simply just unplayable. But when using GearUp, your ping can drop by a noticeably high amount. Or should I say low, cause your ping is getting lowered? Anyways, all you need to do to set up GearUp Booster is click on the link in the description, set up your account, which should be a very easy process, and then open the game that you'd like to have less ping on. Be that Genshin, Fortnite, Withering Waves, Valorant, Honkai Star Rail. It really doesn't matter. Like, look at all these games. You can also play on any server available to you on that game, but in the case of an emergency, they've got 24-hour customer support to help you. I and other content creators like Imapct use GearUp Booster to lower our ping, so what are you waiting for? Take 5 minutes out of your day to get the best ping possible by using the link in my description. Thank you GearUp Booster for sponsoring today's video. But now let's talk about Mualani's passives. When she does an enhanced normal attack, she will generate a floater. Now what this floater does is restores 25 Night Soul points to Mualani, but I probably should have explained to you guys what Night Soul is to begin with. Night Soul is a new mechanic coming in Natlan for all characters from that region. There are 3 different types of Night Souls, one being Night Soul Burst, the other being Night Soul's Blessing, and the last one being Night Soul Transmission. Let's start with Night Soul Burst. What it does is it makes it so that when a Natlan character is in your team, if any character from Natlan does elemental damage, Night Soul Burst is triggered, and that triggering rate gets shorter the more Natlan characters are in your team. Then there's Night Soul's Blessing, which is a state that changes or enhances the character's movement and or damage. And then lastly, we have Night Soul Transmission, which is just a new mechanic for exploring, which is tied to Night Soul's Blessing and helps the character stay in the Night Soul's Blessing state longer stronger and gets more movement. So with that out of the way, let's talk about her second passive. What this passive does is it makes it so that when a nearby party member triggers a Night Soul burst, Mualani will gain 1 stack of Wave Chaser's exploits, which lasts for 20 seconds and increases her burst damage. This burst damage increase can be based off 20% of her max HP, 30%, and even up to 40% of her max HP, depending on how many stacks you can get. But because you now know her entire kit, her talent priorities should be pretty simple. First, prioritize her skill, because that's where she gets most of her damage, then her burst, and lastly her normal attacks. Oh yeah, if you're enjoying the video, why not consider liking, subscribing, and joining my Discord down below. I'm planning on hosting a huge giveaway later to celebrate the release of Natlan, and I will most definitely be giving out free stuff, which I know you guys like, because let's be real, who doesn't like free stuff? It's also an amazing Discord where you can talk with me and a bunch of many funny individuals that even formed their own cult with sus names like this and this. So if you want a place where you can have fun and talk about Genshin, Withering Waves, Honkai Star Rails, and the Zone Zero, and a bunch of other stuff, as well as participate in many giveaways and win free stuff, my Discord was literally made for you. So take 1 second of your day to join. The link will be in the description and comment section because I like to make things easy for you. But now, let's talk about her best teams. Now, because Mualani is a Hydro DPS and Hydro is one of the most overpowered elements in the entire game, she's obviously going to be doing so much more damage she already does by herself in teams with pyro characters that allow her to vape and do double her damage. I have no idea why Hoyoverse keeps making Hydro characters really strong, but I guess it's their favorite element. Although, showing some love to Cryo would definitely be appreciated because of Hydro's crazy lineup. They got Mualani, Neuvillette, Furina, Xingqiu, Yalan. I can go on, but this element is just OP. Anyways, with all that Hydro glazing out of the way, the first best Mualani team is going to be a team with Mualani, Emily, Xiangling, and a shielder like Zhongli. The reason why Zhongli is good in this team is because he can provide a tiny damage buff which Mualani would appreciate, and the obvious reason is because he can protect the entire team since he's the best shielder in the entire game. Emily is there with Xiangling because they both synergize very well together since Emily's main focus is to be played with the burn reaction, and Xiangling can trigger burn with her amazing pyro application. And with all the enemies burning to death, this gives Mualani a chance to trigger the vaporize reaction and do a lot of damage. Another great team is with Mualani, Furina, Xiangling, and Bennett, simply because of the amount of buffs Emily gets from these characters. Furina is a great sub DPS and is also an amazing buffer, while Bennett is the current Pyro Archon who will be able to buff Mualani by a ton. The funny thing about this team is the fact that Mualani and Furina can both trigger Hydro Resonance, and Bennett and Xiangling can trigger Pyro Resonance, which is good for both of the teams. You could also run the exact same team, except you could replace Bennett with Baiju. I'm going to be making a video going in depth about who Mualani's best teammates are pretty soon, so stay tuned. But overall, I think that Mualani is going to be one of the best Hydro characters in the entire game, and one of the best DPS characters as well. This is mainly just because she does so much damage. But her gameplay is also something different, which might need some getting used to, but at the same time, it does look kind of fun. As well as the fact that she is great for exploration makes her a character I think is worth pulling. Please let me know your thoughts on Mualani, and if you're going to be pulling for her, also please check out GearUp Booster by using the link in the description. Thanks for watching, bye.